Good morning. Though I've been doing loads of art stuff and writing and talking a little bit, but more showing you what I do in my life, I thought what I've not done is anything much to do with music. But I thought, first of all, I would give you a singing workshop. Over the years, I've had several different teachers in voice, and they've all taught me different things. So the first thing to remember before we start singing is that it's really crucial that you're nice and relaxed. I think one of the best ways that you can just relax and get into the voice is just simply by closing your eyes and imagining that you're standing on the edge of the ocean, and as the waves are coming towards you, you're going to breathe in for 2, and then as the waves go out back towards the ocean, you're going to breathe out. Okay, and just visualise the ocean in your mind. Visualisation doesn't work for everybody. Some people are really technical. They like to be able to go, no, I need my larynx and my throat to be relaxed, therefore I'm just going to do this particular exercise. Or some people say, no, the visualisation doesn't work for me, I just need to be quiet and with myself. There is no right or wrong way of doing this, but this is just something that works for me. So visualise the ocean, relax your shoulders, shoulders down, lengthening the back of your neck for neck support. Feet are hip width apart, stomach's relaxed, jaw is relaxed. Imagining the ocean and breathing in for 2. Out for 2. In for 2. And out for 2. And you can do this as much as you want until you feel the nerves starting to calm down if you're about to perform, or until you feel yourself really, really relaxed, and just really concentrate on those waves and connect the visualization of the waves with your voice as you're pushing out and bringing in, pushing out and bringing in. Also, psychologically, by being able to connect your mind with the voice and with an image, it also helps center and focus all your attention and your energy. Okay, so once you've done that and you feel like you're completely relaxed, then we can begin some of the exercises. The panting dog exercise, and it sounds really funny, but literally all you're going to do is you're just going to pant like a dog, and what this does is it kind of helps you take better control of your diaphragm. A lot of the time successful singing comes from a really strong breathing base. Take whichever hand is comfortable to you and place it on your diaphragm, okay? So it's just here, just that little gap underneath your rib cage. And all you're going to do is you're just going to pant like a dog and kick your diaphragm out. So let's begin. Okay, and then take short breaths, because in and out, and just relax for a few seconds in between, because you don't want to become lightheaded and pass out. And also, you can be as quick or as slow as you like. Again, it's not a competition. If you can go really, really fast, that's great if you've got control, or if you need to go slower. The most important thing is to be able to get it technically right. So if you're doing that panting exercise, don't think, oh, I'm not going as fast, or I'm surely doing something wrong. You'll know if you're doing it. You'd know if you're doing it right, because your hand will kind of like pop out as you're panting, so it'll kind of be like pop, 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 and your hand will push out. Another gentleman that does a lot of musical theatre work, and he was teaching me this exercise whereby you use a pencil and you stick it on your diaphragm, and just like the panting, we're just going to connect sound to the panting, but we're going to use the vowels. So don't be confused, let me show you. So rather than going, what we're going to do is we're just going to take an R sound, and we're just going to use the R, and we're going to kick it out by diaphragm. So we're going to go R, 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 R. Okay, I'm using the felt tip so that you can see that kick a little stronger. So R, 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 R. Okay, so then you can work through R A, I, O, U, O, and then just make vowel sounds which are comfortable for you, and do this about 30 times. So, ah, 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 A, 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 and so forth. Really helpful, rather than doing the scales, is something called Bella Signora, which is another technique the same guy who I had lessons with last year taught me, and this is really, really good for being able to bridge that gap. Now you might be thinking, I don't know what she's talking about, or you might be sitting there as a singer or with a bit of knowledge about the voice going, yeah, I get it, move on quick. Well, basically, for those of you that don't know, what it means is you kind of like, when you're singing, you get to a certain point in your range, and then there's kind of like a break where you then go into your head voice. So you might start really comfortably, like say ah, and that might be comfortable. But then after that, it might go ah, and then it becomes slightly weaker, more breathy, and it flips from the chest voice into the head voice. And as a singer, what you're trying to do is to be able to not have that break so obvious. You're trying to be able to get your range to be able to go from ah right through to ah like this without there being any kind of obvious break. And everybody has different ranges, and so it's just about getting to know your voice and becoming comfortable with what your range is and where your range is, and then being able to really rejoice in that, in the sense of not comparing yourself to others and thinking, oh, I don't have a range as big as Beyonce. Maybe you don't, but maybe you have a range that is really deep and visceral and very jazz and blues, and so it's just about getting to know your voice and then being able to utilise that for singing. So, Bella Signora. Okay, so this one, it just simply goes, take a deep breath and fill up your diaphragm, okay, so, and then you're just literally going to go Bella Signora. Okay, I have a very soft, quite whispery voice, quite gentle voice, which I think is more pleasant than when I project. I'm still learning how to project successfully in my voice. So whereas you guys might be already sitting there going, Bella Signora, you know, and you might be absolutely fine. Either way, don't be embarrassed, just keep singing it over and over again, further and further up the scale. So, you go, Bella Signora. So it's just Bella Signora, and then you just keep the scale going, and then you just make sure that your jaw is relaxed, and that you really pronounce that Bella Signora. Okay, so let's try again. Bella Signora. Let's try that again. Okay. Bella Signora. And then go up 2 notes. Bella Signora. So you don't have to be able to play the piano to be able to do a successful singing lesson for yourself, though it's cool and it's great if you can, like, learn a few notes on the keys. It's great. Okay, so try again. Bella Signora. I think I'm approaching my break. Bella Signora. Did you see that? Did you see where the voice broke there? Then it went slightly waving, and there was just a slight little break as I flipped over into my head voice. That's the break. And the purpose of doing that all the way up the scale is to be able to try and bridge that gap smoothly. Okay, so we're going to stop there. I think you get the hang of Bella Signora, but it's a great exercise, so try it at home. Pause the YouTube video, listen to it again, get it in your head, and then just potter about the house singing Bella Signora to yourself until it's in your head, and then just keep practicing it. One of the things that I found really, really helpful was the mountaintop exercise, and all you do is you make sure that you're fully warmed up, that you've done all of your warm-ups. It's really, really important before you do any kind of really strong projection exercise, because you really don't want to strain your voice. You want to be nice and relaxed in your throat. So as one teacher told me, imagine like a little inner silent laugh, that point where you're just about to laugh and everything's nice and open in the chest and nice and relaxed, and you imagine if you can, kind of like squeezing 2 oranges underneath your arms, and kind of like to give you a bit of strength. And people think that some people think rather, that you only need strength from your diaphragm. Well, you actually don't. You need to be able to use all of your muscles all the way around, your back muscles, your side muscles, and your diaphragm. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise our arms up like this, and we're just going to imagine that somehow miraculously those oranges are going to stay there underneath our arms. And what we're going to do is we're going to sing a note, but we're going to imagine that we're on a mountaintop, and we're going to just sing out one single note into the distance. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use the strength of our arms to push down on those oranges, just to be really, really strong, to give us a really sort of strength and solid anchor all the way down to our feet, as we're expanding the voice. Okay, so you breathe up to this point. So we're just going to go, okay, I'm breathing up to here, and then I'm going to pick my note where it's comfortable for me. So that's about comfortable for me. So I'm going to go and then we're just going to literally kind of like send that out over the mountaintop. So I'm going to bring our arms down. Okay, so okay, just like a really, really strong note out, and you get really, really loud. Okay, and you can make this, you can go up the scale with this. It can be, next one can be and then up the scale again, and up the scale again, and up the scale again, to end up with something like something like that. And then you just keep on practicing until it becomes second nature to you, and all your muscles are really, really strong, and you breathe in strong, so that when you get on stage, you're able to, you pick up your guitar, your mic night or whatever, you're able to kind of like sing. And whether you're singing quietly, like everybody hurts, everybody cries, or whether you're singing like everybody hurts and you're singing like really jazzed out there, you're able to control your voice. And yeah, that's just some of the exercises that I'm working on at the moment and that I find really, really helpful, and I hope you do too. So begin just by being relaxed, accepting your voice, accepting those sounds, no judgment. Don't judge your voice through your singing lessons. You're going to make some amazing sounds, and you're going to make some pretty awful sounds. I've not made some incredible sounds today. I've made some kind of like few mistakes, and if you're a singing teacher, you're going to be able to spot that straight away. And yeah, the most important thing is just to be able to get to know you, get to know your voice, and be happy with that. So a cool down would be, one of my singing teachers, one of my early singing teachers used to say, just kind of do this whole kind of like a croaky noise, because apparently that just cools the vocal cords down. So take a deep breath. Okay, ugly sound, I know. So have a great weekend everyone, and I shall see you next week.